I love what they've done. I mean, you guys know me now. You know, I'm a big fan of Brandon Beane and the job that he's done along with Sean McDermott and everyone there with the Bills. And I think Brandon's plan, again, has really panned out so well so far, with still the draft to come and still some free agents out there as well. But, obviously the headline move with Diggs, I love it. I think it's a great move for Josh Allen. I think the offense now, look at those top 3 wide receivers, the offensive line coming back. There's a lot of different weapons for Josh Allen. And, I also really like the Mario Addison move. I did a Panthers game last year, and studying up on them, he was one guy that really stuck out to me on tape. Luke Kuechly was still there at the time before retiring, but Addison was a guy that really caught my eye. And I think, with everything going on in the world right now, and Tom Brady spoke about this on his press conference about an hour ago, Tom Brady's saying, I got to play a lot of catch-up. I got to get up to speed really quick, which is going to be very difficult with everyone separated. So what I really like about the Bills is the continuity that they're going to be bringing back, and knowing that system and so many of the same faces in this season especially. I think that's really going to serve them well.
Andrew Catalon, our guest from the NFL on CBS. Andrew, I'm assuming you've done more than an occasional Minnesota Vikings game over the last few years. What are your impressions of Stefon Diggs? What kind of a receiver did the Bills get in Stefon Diggs?
Well, I think he's electric, Murph. I think that there's really nothing he can't do. Obviously, he's touted as a great route runner, which I think will really work well with Josh Allen. But beyond that, I think that he's a guy that really commands that attention from the defense. When opposing defensive coordinators play the Bills, they're going to say, number one, how do we stop Stefon Diggs? And that's not something they've had at wide receiver over the previous years. Now they do. When he moved John Brown down to the second spot, like Beasley, who obviously had a great connection with Allen last year in the slot. I just think it's one more weapon that the Bills have now, and he's a really good weapon. He's the number one wide receiver, no doubt about it.
You just mentioned the conference call that Tom Brady had, his first as a member of the Buccaneers. How do you think his movement over to the NFC changes the entire landscape of the conference, let alone the AFC East?
Yeah, it's just wild, Steve. I mean, I did not expect that. I thought he would flirt with other teams and then end up going back to New England. I think a lot of people probably felt that way, but here we are. And, from a Buffalo perspective, to me, they're the favorites to win the AFC East. I don't think New England will take this drastic step back because, truthfully, Brady did not have a lights-out year last year, and they're still going to have a lot of pieces coming back. But that said, I still think this makes Buffalo the favorite now. And from a Bills perspective, I think that they got to go in with that mentality that they're the team to beat, that they can go and take that title away from New England. And knowing the culture that Sean McDermott has put in place, I expect that this Buffalo team will be ready to rally and win the division.
Is that a lot to ask, Andrew? Some people, including the third guy in the line here, Steve Tasker, expect the Patriots to be competitive again. Is that a lot to ask the Bills to, you basically have anointed them as the successors to the throne that the Patriots may be ready to vacate?
Yeah, no, I think New England is still going to win 8-9 games. I just think right now this Buffalo team, again, there's a long ways to go, but they're a 10-11 win team. I think that they're better than New England. I don't think it's going to be a runaway. I don't think the Bills are going to, clinch on Thanksgiving. But I think they're better than New England right now. And there's still a lot of question marks going forward in the offseason. But, I think that this Buffalo team has proven that with what they have coming back on defense, with the addition of Diggs and the other free agents, we'll see what happens in the draft. Again, we're sitting here in late March, but I would peg them as the favorites to win.
Yeah, and here's the thing. And last year, the Bills and a lot of the the gaming sites were picked. Their over/under was 6 wins or 6.5 wins. Murph and I both were very optimistic they were going to outdo that, which they did, obviously. This year, it's 9 wins, but the schedule says a lot about it. We all know that some teams struggle with good teams and other teams struggle with everybody, and some teams don't struggle with anybody. But the Bills they've got Seattle, San Francisco, the Rams, and Arizona next year. They've got Pittsburgh and Tennessee on their schedule, along with the New England, the Patriots, the Dolphins, and the Jets. I mean, they've got a really rough schedule, or at least on the surface. From here in March, before these teams take shape, you've got both teams that were in the Super Bowl. Kansas City, they've got on their schedule. You've got both teams in the Super Bowl and all the teams from maybe the most competitive division in the league next year in the NFC West on the Bills' schedule. How much of an effect is that going to have on their ability to be one of the 7 teams now in the AFC playoff bracket?
Yeah, Cass, great point. I mean, that's obviously a very tough schedule they have coming up. But obviously the Patriots will have to play a lot of those same teams. And, this Buffalo team to me is ready to take the next step. I just can't say enough about Bean and McDermott and what they have put together. And this is part of their plan. This is part of their process. And, I think they're ready to go toe-to-toe with those teams you just mentioned. Again, I'm not saying it's going to be a runaway. I'm not predicting Buffalo to go 14-2, but I think they're going to get more than 9 wins. I think they are going to win the division. I think this team is talented enough to make a deep run. I mean, look, last year they were ahead of schedule. I really thought that they were going to, flirt with that wild card, and they ended up, kind of taking it pretty early in the game. And then obviously we know what happened in the playoffs. But I think that playoff experience will serve them well. The continuity will be a big factor, especially in this NFL season. And I really feel they're ready to take that next step.